say some things that might be usable for the intro. Let's do that.
Say the podcast name. Say our names. And then share what we think it is.
Welcome to It's Happening for You.
For you. Is this even the song we want to start our podcast with?
This is It's Happening for You, the podcast with Robin Meharry and
Stephanie Lentini.
We love you. Love you. And then the music begins.
All right, here we go. Hi, Robin.
Hey, Steph. Coming live from Switzerland.
Geneva, right? Is that Lake Geneva?
Lake Geneva, yeah. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Is that where the Geneva thing is? What is that thing where like the Geneva, isn't there like a big agreement or something?
Oh my God.
The nations come together.
Yes.
And it's like the neutral zone. Switzerland's like the neutral zone.
Neutral zone. So I'm not in Geneva, but I'm on Lake Geneva. Geneva is like across the lake for me. I think it's about a 45-minute train. So I haven't been to Geneva yet, but
it's like a city.
I'm on. Yes, it's a city.
Well, I just gotta say, I love that. And I already said this to you, but I'm gonna say it again. For anyone watching this, you can see the reflection of Lake Geneva in the
I'll give a little
give a little peek show. Little woo, look at that. Gorgeous.
French Alps across the way.
Oh my gosh. And we can see it in the reflection behind you. That's so amazing.
It's so peaceful. It's such a different pace of life here. It's really cool actually, because this is I think there's vineyards actually surrounding the lake, but this village has vineyards like all down the hillside, and there's wineries here, but it's like not touristy.
Oh,
so
cool.
it's like, it's cool because like you think that a place that's this beautiful and has amazing wine would be packed with tourists. It's so quiet and so serene.
Oh yeah, and it's June, so it's like peak tourism.
It's peak time. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
It's amazing.
And where are you exactly? So, what's it called?
It's called Grando, something like that.
Oh, is it like EAUX kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I know. I do not speak French and I wish I did, but I don't. But it's outside Lausanne. Lausanne is like the bigger town that people would know of.
Are they speaking French there? Because I thought that Swiss was like Swiss German.
No, that's north. So the south is is French.
Swiss French.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So my friend's husband, Julian, speaks Swiss French.
Okay, cool.
Oui.
Bonjour. Oui. I love French. Love it. Love it.
I know. It's so beautiful. I know. It's so fun. It's so cool too, because the Tiger Lily, the baby, she's going to be bilingual.
Hell yeah.
I know. So it's so cool to like watch her. She gets so excited when she hears like Julian or any of the family members or friends talking to her in French. She's like lights up. I'm like, I get it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I get it too. And what would her name be in French? Like Tiger Lily.
Yeah, the color. Yeah, Tiger Lily. Lily.
Love it.
Lily. Oh, it's so cute. It's the best.
I love it.
Trains going by. I don't know if you can hear that.
A little bit, but not that much. Yeah. How cool.
That's cool. Anyways.
Well, so good to see you from Lake Geneva, Switzerland, or Grando.
Yeah. And so good to see you in Colorado.
Yes.
Denver, right?
Golden, baby.
Look at us traveling little babes. I love it.
Okay.
James. Oh, and something fun to just announce. Before I got on, I told Steph how I was like, the Wi-Fi is not great here. So we're going to just have to wing this and see how it goes. And then she wrote back and said, wait, I want to read it exactly because it was so perfect. I was like, yes, if you want, you can decide to have strong Wi-Fi. And I was like, that's
And
it.
then I sent
That's
you the
it.
little like tongue out emoji, like,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
if you want.
Meh. And I
Since
was
you're,
like, I do
since you're creating this entire reality, like, what do
yes.
you want?
What do you want? I was like, that was the perfect like reminder, like a simple one, but like, and watch, perfect Wi-Fi so
Yeah.
far.
So good. Oh my gosh.
So good.
Ooh, 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 ooh,
Okay, you
ooh.
said before we push record, you said this was the perfect segue, so I'm ready for you to.
Well, I can't remember what the sentence was then.
Well, come on, Steph, get it together. No, just kidding. I don't remember either. I was putting that on you because I don't remember.
Well, let me just reel into like this most delicious entry point because I feel like, okay, let's dive in to the deep end in the most delicious way.
Yep.
And there are some cool discoveries, expansions that I've had in the last, like, I don't know, 2 hours is so cool because I had a private session with the Communion of Light yesterday. It was my 4th
cool.
private session.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, you're racking those up.
I'm racking them up.
I need to listen to yours.
I've got
You
a
have them.
shared folder.
Yeah.
And also to anyone listening, like I have a shared folder if you want to listen to them. I'm putting the ones in there that I'm comfortable sharing. And I think at some point I'll be comfortable sharing them all, but it's like when they're really fresh, I sort of am like, let me let that settle in,
Yes,
then
vulnerable. Yeah.
it's like, sometimes I'm asking about relationships and I just like, it's like, I want to come to the, peace or whatever in myself that it's about me, it's not about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that sometimes just takes like a minute to like wriggle myself into.
Totally. Yep.
You know what I mean?
I do.
But I had a private session yesterday and I was asking about lots of things. And I was sort of like, I felt this, like, I really want to get this, what you're saying to me, but I'm not fully registering what you're saying. It wasn't like massive, like mind bombs going off,
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It was sort of like the almost like when I was asking in session number 3 about people, this kind of, bless you, bless you,
Did you hear
darling.
me? You couldn't hear me.
No, I could see your face
But you can see me.
crunch up though.
I muted in time this time.
You did.
Continue. Thank you.
In the 3rd session, I was like asking about relationships and stuff. Just like interactions I was having with people essentially. And it was sort of like, I don't know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but I don't know what you're saying, and this was almost similar. And fuck, today I was on the live morning workshop call.
Oh,
And
wow.
the theme of this workshop is called Manifesting Wealth Through Freedom. And it's been amazing. So amazing. And primarily the questions that people are asking are just blowing me away because they're so perfect. And it's cool because, someone will actually say this in the workshop, like everyone's questions that they're asking, are like my questions. And they're like, yeah, well, you're all creating this. Like we're creating this all together, you're creating this. I think you're still muted because I didn't hear you say yes, but just double check.
Yes. Thank you.
And this morning there were 4 questions, and they progressively got more specific to the expansion of my private conversation with them yesterday. To the point that in like the 3rd or 4th question, they literally said, we were having a conversation with a friend yesterday about this very topic.
Oh my gosh.
I'm pretty sure that was like the 4th. And I was like, I'm the friend. It could have been someone else who had a private session too. It's like, we're all sort of like, you know, on this wavelength, this frequency together, we're gelling.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm the friend and I'm manifesting your questions right now, because I didn't know what to ask. But also in hearing from someone else's like life experience, it's almost easier to receive the answer because it's less personal, you know? So I have less opinions about it, as the communion of light would say. It's like there's sort of the truth, and there's truth for you, which feels better, and then there's also like the things that arise, which are just opinions, like the thoughts that they're just opinions. And it was just so good to hear all these things. Okay, but this is so general, right? I'm just being very general right now, so I'm like, what are the specifics that feel so good?
You shared with me that one question from session 3. The one about working out.
Oh yeah, okay.
Do you remember? Do you know what I'm talking about? Where they were saying to the caller, because she was asking why she sometimes gets like activated. Is it like where she's sweating and this whole
after
concept about energy?
Yes.
Which like I want to listen to that again. I got a chance to listen to it just once, but I feel like this was like so intertwined to topics that you and I have been having through this podcast, you know, multiple times, about like body, but also about energy levels and like tiredness. You know, we were talking about that with me. And I'm sorry, did I just totally take over where you're going? Okay.
No, keep going. I wasn't going necessarily, like I wasn't going to speak about that, but I want you to talk about what's lighting up for you. You know, it's all gonna weave in.
We'll all come together. So, because like the thing that I have kind of, I guess, like internally been a little bit of a, not feeling alignment on is the fact that I understand that we're source energy. So source energy is infinite energy, right? So then I kind of got myself stumped up on a little bit of like, well, then if we're source energy and we have access to infinite energy sources, why do I feel depleted? Why, like, I kind of, you know, it's one of those things that I think my logical mind understands like how, or wants to understand energy and how like an energy output, you need energy input and that kind of concept. But then when you go to like the highest level where we are infinite energy and we have access to that at all times, that's where I get a little like, you know, just scratching my head a little bit.
Yeah, but like, okay, this is my take on it. Steph's take. That we are infinite we're beings of light. We're unconditional love manifesting in form, and all of the ways that we're expressing unconditional love. And we have from our physical experience, we have lots of like ideas about our bodies and energy and food and movement that tell us, you know, we have a lot of constructed ideas about what's going on. And I think what we're being exposed to specifically with the communion of light is something broader than like oh, we're physical beings, you know. They're like, you're not even physical beings. You think you are, but you're like actually not. Like that's an illusion. It's a hologram.
Yes.
And so this is what you're talking about. Like when she asked, why do I notice I'm sweating at the end of like coaching calls, essentially, where we're having all these awesome, interesting conversations and people are asking questions and getting responses and I'm playing out whatever. And they were like, well, you're not actually, no energy is actually moving or being expended. Even when it appears like you're moving, like you're going to the gym and you're lifting weights. The only reason that you might be losing weight or gaining muscle is because you've constructed an idea that an expectation, the reason those things are occurring is because you're imagining them occurring, period.
Yes.
It's not because of the actual thing that it appears that you're doing.
Yeah.
So as you are imagining your muscles getting bigger and your body dropping fat or whatever, that's what is rising up to meet you as an experience. And similarly, like with her, they were like, you know, it might just feel good to you, like you've accomplished something. You know?
That was the other thing I was just going to say, like where the thing that I love that they bring through a lot is it's because you want it. There's a part of you that desires to sweat because you feel like you accomplished something.
Exactly.
And it's a desire, it's a want. So therefore you're manifesting that.
Yes. And you're continuing to manifest your body as some sort of like feedback mechanism for yourself to reward you or scold you or keep you in check, you know. And also like people outside of ourselves, we're creating them, they're extensions of us, and we're creating them to be various like archetypes or whatever, you know, of keeping us in check. This is like, you know, not necessarily the highest expression of an extension of us, but that when you realize that the things we're doing, the constructs that we've created for almost like a reason or a purpose. We wanted that thing for some time. And then you can be like, well, am I still wanting that? You know, I think that's where the practicalness comes in. The applicability is like, oh, okay. Am I still wanting that? I mean, ever since that conversation about sweating, I've been like, okay, so if I go to the gym, which I like doing sometimes, I'm going to go just because I want to go and not because that means I'm building more muscle, because my body's getting toned all the time. And I've been purporting that, or I don't know the right word, but I've been telling the universe that for like a couple of weeks now. I've just been like, my body's constantly getting more toned and everything I'm eating is healthy for me. And I'm eating what's most delicious, and I'm not making myself eat things that I feel like I need to eat to be healthy anymore, because everything I eat is healthy for me. Like I've been telling myself this, and I'm like, you know, I feel so strong. And people are telling me that too. Like people are like,
oh,
wow,
that's
you just look like you're so muscular, so strong. And I've been telling myself I'm strong, I'm lean, I'm fit, and I'm getting more so all the time. And so if I go to the gym, I go just because I like to lift metal.
Yes. Right. Yes.
Because sometimes I do like to lift metal.
Yeah. And like, I sometimes like to sweat. Like I like working out hard where then there's drips of sweat coming off my body. And that could be because of that long ago idea that we've put into our system, our logical mind, that sweat equals, you know, losing weight or payoff. Yes. But nonetheless, I like to sweat, no matter where the origins are or whatever. So if I have a desire to go work out to experience that, there's nothing wrong with it.
Nope.
But having the awareness, I think this whole conversation, obviously everything that you and I talk about is about expanding and elevating our awareness on all these topics, because
Yeah, and
before it was this
infusing it with
habit.
yes, infusing
Yeah.
it with freedom, you know, like
Yes.
when there's awareness, where there's awareness, there's also choice.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that like there are things that are subconscious or unconscious. This is a particular like idea that feels really good to me, that there's not actually like an unconscious mind that's operating, that everything's conscious, but many things habitual. And that's
Yeah.
simply the fact of it, is like it's just habit, and you're not aware that you can choose differently. So when there's awareness to like habit or pattern or whatever, just familiarity, then it's absolutely infused with freedom and choice. Oh, is this, oh, with that awareness, is it what I'm continuing to want from where I stand right now? You
Yes.
know, and yeah, so yeah, in my session 2, I was like, so if we're not moving and everything's rising to meet us, does that mean like I can lose weight? I don't know why I did air quotes, but like, can I lose weight without like exercising? And they're like, of course. Yeah, but right now, and the next sentence I said was like, from where I stand right now, I don't feel like that's possible. But just as you're offering that sort of broader view about how everything's working, now I'm like, well, that's awesome. I don't have to go to the gym to get what I want.
Yes.
I can have what I
Yes.
want literally immediately now. I'm
Yes.
already having what I want, in fact. And just turning my awareness and my attention to that, I'm having what I'm wanting here and now. I'm
Mhm.
having a body that's healthy. I'm having a body that's fit. Sure. From here, I probably want more, but it goes back to this sentence and the chapter 11 and spinning straw into gold,
I
where
think
it's
that's a
like,
chapter I'm starting right now.
it's so good. It's
I
like
think it is.
when you make the choice for more from where you are instead of in spite of where you are.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and I'm sure I've read that to you before. It's such a profound shift of, oh, I'm here and I don't want to be here, and
Yes.
so I want it to be different. I want more from here. Um of course I open right to it because I probably read this so many times. And today, if only for a moment, you will be, as you practice this thought, opening up to the possibility of abundance or anything you want coming from where you are, not in spite of where you are.
Yes. Yes. There's a couple things that I also wanted to add on to what you were just talking about, and something that I don't know which sample recording I was listening from Frank and the Communion of Light, but he was saying how like we're always going to have like a lot of the opinions that we have are habitual and it's learned,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that those aren't gonna like just go away,
Mm-hmm.
and that to be aware that those are going to be present, and
Mm-hmm.
we're these like differing opinions coming up, but the
Mm-hmm.
thing that we will recognize is that we aren't attached to them anymore. We
Mm-hmm.
can notice them and then choose, like you were just talking about,
Mm-hmm.
choose
Mm-hmm.
what's a better thought, a better
Mm-hmm.
feeling thought, not better thought, but better feeling thought.
Yes.
And we then have the choice, but it's not that like, oh, we now understand that we are these infinite beings and all those opinions are just gonna
Mm-hmm.
like go away. It's like they're going to be present, but we're going to be able to be aware of them and then choose, which I
Mm-hmm.
love. It almost when I heard that, it almost had like a sigh of relief. Oh, because
Mm.
this goes back to of like what they talk about and what we talked about in our last episode about like that kind of we really want to be like the best student,
Yes.
like get this
Yes.
right. And like, the thing that they continuously say is like, you can't get this wrong. The council says that too. Sarah Landon, the council says that too. It's like, you can't get any of this wrong. But
Yeah.
it's just this thought of like, we like this, it's maybe not even perfectionism is like what they were saying. It's just this, we've learned this
Mhm.
is how we are accepted and loved, is by being this like perfect student, you know? So anyways, that was just like something I wanted to add on to what you were just bringing through.
Okay, I wanna bring that a step further, and it goes back to exactly what I was saying when we kind of switched to body and physical and that sort of
Yes.
stuff. So, as you become, more of who you are and more of just realizing that you're a being of light and more unconditionally loving to yourself and everything around you, and that's given, um, that as you are oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Let me pause and let me form this thought, because I'll just read this sentence and then it'll spill out into more.
Perfect.
When it gets externalized outside of you, everything's an extension of you. When a thought or an idea gets externalized, you know it's something that's moving away from you.
Okay, I'm gonna have to have you repeat that.
Okay. That is so cool. It's like your hummingbird experience,
Yes.
except a cat just walked across this fence that I'm looking at and is staring right at me.
Oh, oh my gosh.
And it's just like staring into my eyes.
Wow.
Black cat, yellow eyes, smelling the
Whoa.
fence now. Hello, buddy.
Oh my gosh, how
Wow.
funny. Wow.
There's actually quite a few quotes I have about this idea, because at the end of the call this morning, I was like, "Oh my god, that was amazing." And I was sending messages to this sort of group chat I've named the spaceship.
Yeah,
Um
cute.
okay, so my friend Selena took these notes. When the shit hits the fan, the shit's actually being blown away. The pipe's being flushed. Uh, in this case, it was like people outside reflecting like thoughts of lack or whatever. Like when they get externalized, the thoughts
Mm,
that used to be in your head, now they appear to be in someone
mhm,
else, an
mhm,
extension of you. It just
mhm.
means that those old ideas are evolving away. And as you are becoming more of that match to whatever's the evolved state of being, state of
Yeah.
feeling, etc., it goes outside and it looks like other people or things, and its evidence is getting further away from you.
Mm. Wait, is that something the Communion of Light says?
Yeah, that's what I was saying from my
Whoa.
session yesterday, and all the
Yes.
questions today were talking about this. Like, this one woman was saying, like, I have this couple friends in my life that they're just like, they seem like the ideal relationship of what I'm wanting. And she's wanting a relationship. And they were like, they are extensions of you, of what you're wanting. You're creating that. And we're going to take it a step further and let you know that they're becoming even more of that which you're wanting in your presence.
Mm,
So,
mhm,
like,
mhm.
when you entered into their life, etc., that they've become even more of that expression of what you're wanting. And so, often we see the things outside of us and that we want, and we sort of get jealous or whatever. Oh, they have it. And they're like, I don't hear your audio or
You didn't
anything.
hear that?
Oh,
Okay, my
no.
mic just fell.
No, I didn't hear it.
Okay.
And they're like, yeah, that's just you. An extension of you. That's you and your desire, and you're already having what you're wanting. That is an expression of you having what you're wanting. So I guess maybe the opposite is true. As you're becoming
Yeah.
more of a match to it, it's coming to you, you're
Yep.
seeing externalized, and you're bringing it in. And they literally said, if you want, you can like imagine being in a field and like you stepping into them or them stepping into your body and integrating it as like more of you, more of your experience, but also recognize that that is you having what you're wanting already, even if it looks like it's outside of you. So then also, when you're becoming less of something, right? Less of a match to like an old, and you're evolving into more of what you're wanting, then as it's sort of like coming off of you or whatever, this old idea, this old belief, it externalizes outside of you in various ways. And they're literally saying like it can start popping up. And that's the whole shit hits the fan thing. It's like, I thought I was doing so well. Now all of these things are coming at me that are like showing me otherwise. And it's like, no, that's evidence that it's actually going away from you. That's exactly what that is like, and they went into this whole thing of like, you don't need to say, make it wrong, you know, like, no, I don't like this. Acknowledge it, let it be. You don't need it to be off the buffet essentially, but also you can say, no, thanks. That's not for me anymore. Close the door, you know? And they were saying they use this whole, like, the cat bringing you, like a mouse. That's funny. Because they did this whole thing about like cat bringing you mice, and you're just like, no thanks, I don't like mice anymore. I'm not into mice. Mice aren't really my thing. No thanks. And this is a big part of what I was asking about yesterday, is this idea that like, if something comes to me, whether it's wanted or unwanted, does that mean there's more there for me that I need to explore? And they're like, no. No, like this whole idea that, you know, you look down an alley and it stinks and you're like, well, maybe I should go to the end of the alley though, just to see if like there's more for me in terms of my spiritual development.
Totally. Yes. Okay. I love that you just brought this up, because this is a old belief that I carried for a really long time, and language I used to use that I don't use any longer, because I understand that this is not how this works. But I definitely thought that the universe was bringing us lessons.
Who didn't? I mean, we're all seekers. And so that it makes sense that we're bringing this up. And this is a big part of my questioning that's still just little residuals, you know. It's like, oh, but isn't there something in here for me? And they're like, well,
something I need to learn.
Like I said, I feel like there's something, like I created it and there's something of benefit to me and I have to explore it. And they're like, we agree with the first two, but the second one we disagree with. You did create it. It is of benefit to you, but it could be as simple as saying like, no, thanks. Like that could be and you'll know by how it feels.
Yes. Well, and this is just like that whole concept again of like, and they say this a lot, is like, it's happening for you.
Yeah.
Right. To understand that it's happening for you so that you can gain more clarity on it, what it is that you do want, what does feel better.
Yeah. They call it like sharpening the axe, sharpening the axe. You're sharpening your axe, and without the contrast, we wouldn't have the clarity. Even yesterday, I was asking about like, oh, I'm not really sure what's going on with coaching. I asked them about that in my private session yesterday, and they're like, you don't even know what's next because the contrast hasn't occurred yet to create the clarity for you.
Whoa, that's interesting.
Right?
Oh my gosh, yes. Wait, is this what you were going to talk to me about remember you sent me a message and you were like, oh my gosh,
probably not, because this is new. This is like hot off the fucking press.
Well, and I feel like things are moving so quickly for both of us. So like probably a week ago, things have already changed and expanded for you on this topic. So we'll
massively.
But that's just so interesting, because like I think like the one thing I will say, like my guiding post now is like, if something doesn't feel, and this is a term that Sarah and the counselor uses, choiceless, If it doesn't feel like the obvious next step, which is also the community of light talks about this, it's like, it's not this like big step you have to take. It's just the obvious next one. And it's a next best feeling step to take
Yes.
in the present moment. You're not thinking about like, 5 years from now. You're just thinking, okay, what feels good next to do now.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah,
Now. And
exactly.
it's
I
like,
was
it's
like,
not choiceless right now. You don't know
just
right in
what
this
feels
moment.
good right now.
Yes.
Yeah. And there was, again, this little piece of me that was like, oh, but like, if I make this decision now, it's permanent. They were also saying some cool shit about how the inner parent in me says things like has had a regulating voice or tone that's like, don't do something that will tarnish your appearance or make these people not want to work with you again. And I was like, oh, you're fucking right. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, allowing that to evolve into something new. I'm also loving this idea of allowing my inner parent to become one of not the regulator, but the just unconditional lover. You know what I mean?
Supporter.
Like, that just like, I love you, honey. Anything you want, you can have. You can be whatever you want when you grow up. You're beautiful. You're amazing, and I have an awareness that some of my inner parenting has been more of the intended to keep me in check sort of thing, or like what they said to me specifically yesterday was ensure my future success. Ensure my future success. And that's what I feel like I'm releasing, is this like sort of manipulation and strategy, and particularly with trying to control how people see me, to make sure that they still like me and keep paying me. I mean, it's like, I don't even want to say that out loud, but I'm allowing it to evolve, and it's okay that it was there and it served me, and it doesn't feel good anymore. I'm like, oh yeah, allowing that shit to evolve, because if I can separate cash and money from person, place, thing, circumstance, and just recognize that the universe is absolutely abundant. It's not coming from, although it might be coming from someone's bank account, whatever, but it also so many other places. It's not tied to that condition. It's like the universe is just absolutely infinitely abundant. And I think that's sort of the release amongst so many other things that's occurring, that expansion into like more of what I'm wanting regarding like it's not tied to person, place, thing, circumstance.
A little B. But hey, there you go. Same. Yeah, we're getting rid of that. The other thing along with that is they talk about how like we learn consistency. That consistency equals
and permanency.
Equals like it's like our logical mind then making sense of us, or like I guess what is like the path to success. It's like, you hear
if A
like,
then B.
Exactly. You have this consistent, let's say, job, right? Like that's kind of the main one that we all kind of go to. It's like, okay, if you work a consistent job with one company for a longer period of time, that's kind of usually in our society is deemed like, okay, that's successful. And it's just so interesting because it is like such a habitual, like learned way of being. Like nothing's consistent. You know what I mean? Like if you really think about it, like nothing is consistent in life. And so to then think that we need to be consistent, and if we're not, then there is, I'm just thinking in terms of like even my lifestyle that I have now versus before. I was really on that path of
Mhm.
like a consistent job and like this is what you do and you saved and then blah blah blah. And then I like burnt all the ships and was like, fuck this. I'm gonna do
Mhm.
my own template. And it's
Mhm.
not consistent. It's like I check in with myself all the time, like I can say without a shadow of a doubt that I know that I'm exactly where I need to be right here, right now, because I'm
Mhm.
listening to my inner guidance. That is what feels best right now to do.
Mhm.
And that will change. Like
Mhm.
right now, I'm helping, watch my friend's baby.
Mhm.
That's not going to be my plan for the next 5 years. Like I just know
Mhm.
that's going to shift and move and be different. Or maybe it's not. Who knows? But like it's not I'm not doing it because it's consistent. I'm doing it. I will always be doing anything that just because it feels right. Feels
Mhm.
the best thing to do. The next step.
It just feels like the next it feels
Obvious step.
like better. It feels
Better.
better than where you are in
Mhm.
this now moment. Well, and I'm gonna like even uh
Expand.
expand that a little bit and say it's not where you need to be. You're absolutely always in the right place in the right
Always.
time. It's
Yes.
always happening for you. You're always creating everything, and everything's absolutely always perfect. You're always in wealth
Always.
and health. And the only thing that might contradict that is your perception, period.
Yes. And to the having the awareness that you like you're manifesting, you created what
You
you're
are
experiencing
continuing to create in
and
every
you're
single moment.
continuing. So you have choice.
Yes.
You have choice to make a different reality for yourself
Yes.
if you so choose. But there's nothing
Absolutely.
wrong if you stay exactly where you are or well you will never. It will
I was
always be
gonna
more,
say,
but
like the concept, the ideas, the structure of consistency and permanency, like are beneficial to us. And like in this case, where we're on a Zoom call and this computer continues to look like a computer, and you and I continue to have this conversation, and there's consistency and permanency that we're enjoying, we're benefiting from, we're enjoying it. And then in other ways, like you might just be like, oh, um, like I don't like I can actually, it doesn't have to be this linear timeline of like when I can have what I want or whatever. Like it can actually be that idea that it has to take time or be in a
yeah.
logical progression is an illusion, so I can have what I want in this immediate moment,
Yes.
like this is a fun thing to apply, is like just being in the havingness of it now, not
Yeah.
even saying like, oh, I can change this so that then I have it. You do change it when you say, I have it. I'm having
Yeah.
it now. I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
having all that I'm wanting right now, and being in the imagining of it and being in the vibration of it and being in the having of it. And then boom, there it is. I had a really like delicious conversation yesterday with a group of peeps who are also
Mhm.
discovering Frank and loving it. And we were talking about how when you're planning for something, you're actually just dangling the carrot on the string, because that future time never comes. The only time that you can have anything is in this now moment. And so when you're
Mhm.
like saying, oh, yeah, like, you know, on Friday when I get off work, then I'll have fun, then you're just always, um, you're holding fun away from you. The only time you can have fun is right now. So be
Mhm.
in the having of fun, no matter what day of the week it is. Monday, Sunday night, Wednesday, doesn't matter. Friday evening,
Mhm.
doesn't matter, because now is the only moment. And
Yeah.
time is a construct also that we create to just
Yeah.
organize
Totally.
psychologically what's going on.
Yeah.
Um, so I need to pee. I'm gonna go pee, and I'll be
Okay.
right back. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna pause this. Okay.
Great.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
As I whenever the baby wakes up, I sing welcome back, when she wakes up from naps.
I love that.
Ah, um hmm, there's something I was just gonna say.
Hmm. New
I
chapter.
am really new chapter, did you say?
Mhm.
Have you finished the book?
Oh, no, I haven't.
No, not yet. I was gonna say I really am kind of like what you were talking about with your sessions with the communion of light, and how like there is questions you're asking about like relationships and interactions you had, and it's like, you know, you're like, get it but not quite there or whatever.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm also like having fun playing with this idea that I've created everything.
Yep.
And so when there is someone outside of me, and I have like, it's like contrast. It's a feeling of like contrast or maybe discomfort that I'm
Unwanted.
having, unwanted. And then there's like the judgment comes in of like
Mhm.
where they're at versus where I'm at.
Totally.
And go then being like, oh, wait, I created this for me.
Yeah. To show you, there we go. To show you that
Yes.
it's going away.
Yes.
That
Yes.
like one of the things that they say is, aren't you so glad those thoughts aren't in your head anymore?
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of times I think those are the things that trigger us the most, are the things that like maybe you used to believe that you don't anymore.
Yep.
And you're like, can't
Yes.
you see? Like, can't
Yes.
you see that that's so bogus?
Yes.
And that is that idea externalizing from you outside of you. And it's just evidence that's floating
Mm,
away. And that's
mhm.
how that's happening for you. That's how that
Yes.
contrast is happening for you,
Yes.
because it's giving you that conscious opportunity to be like, oh yeah, I'm actually like aware that this doesn't feel like resonant with me. I'm becoming even more in alignment with all that I am. And that is like old news. That just like doesn't feel
Yeah.
like my reality anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
It's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And like the other thought that comes in, I think we said this on like the last episode or maybe a couple episodes ago, of like, what if everybody else is in heaven on earth waiting for you?
Yeah.
And if like this is a projection of my own, like if I've created this and all these characters and people in this,
Yeah.
then like I can change that.
Yeah. It's also how like people are different with other
Or not
people.
change, but like, yes.
Yeah, you
Yes,
can choose
totally.
different. You can
You
I've been calling
yeah,
it rewriting the character.
yes. And I think it's just then back to like what you focus on, and this is what the council says, it's like what you focus on and the meaning you give it creates your reality.
Yep.
So if in that moment you're focused on the unwant, oh, I hate this. Like, oh, can't they act differently than this? Like, why can't they think this way instead? And you're focused on that, then there's going to be more of that.
Mhm.
Right.
And you're pushing
And then,
against it. You're
yes,
essentially saying yes to it with your attention on it.
yes, exactly.
As much as it
Exactly.
you think you're saying no, just by nature or essence of your attention, you're saying yes.
Yes. Where your intention goes, your energy goes. Right.
What
So
you
it's
resist,
like,
you persist.
persist. Come on. Do we have another one that we could give people? There's so many good ones. but, but it's like instead, like I love what you just provided for me, because I haven't had this like little nugget yet brought into my awareness of like in those moments being able to go, oh, isn't that's cool? That's how I used to be. And now That's thought, or whatever, which is a better feeling thought. Whatever is a better feeling thought that I can focus on instead is the opportunity that is presented to me in that moment. Right?
Yep. And when like yesterday I was like, oh, this is like my interpretation of like what this means about this person. And they were like, how does it feel? And I was like, it feels awful. And they're like, that means it's not true. It's not true. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. I'm okay. I get that.
Yeah.
So what's true is that they're a hologram. They are rising up to meet me, for me, on my behalf, to my benefit. And in this scenario, what feels better is A, thinking those thoughts, and B, thinking this is evidence that this is going away from me. This is evidence for me. This is that next better feeling thought regarding people that feel and things that are coming that feel unwanted. That's coming up to show me that I'm actually not a match to that anymore. Whatever. Like I am evolving and expanding into more of what I'm wanting. That's just here to show me that. Period. Bye. And not like it's got to get out of here.
No, it's simple. But this is what we do. Like back to what you were saying, like I love the little like, is there a smell down the alley that we need to go investigate and find out and clean it up? It's like, no, it's like, it's simply be like, oh, that smells. I'm not really interested in that. Okay, this alley that has beautiful flowers and birds flying and butterflies, I'm going to go there instead. It's like, it can be that simple.
Yeah, we don't even want alleys in. I mean, not to
we
say
want open the
land. Alley's like the cat and the mouse, sort of like the mouse that gets delivered. And then it's like, no, we're just on this path and we're just heading forward and it's beautiful and there's shops and there's meadows and there's flowers and there's croissants and cappuccinos and you know, people speaking French and it's beautiful. And
that's my reality right now.
T-shirts, you know. Yes. And that, like, I don't need to go investigate that, which is kind of stinky.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So I have kind of an example of this that I've realized that I was kind of playing out a little bit of like, oh, definitely an old story, not a little bit of an old story, definitely an old story. I definitely, well, okay, actually, I would love to bring this to here and I would love to get your take on it and expand. Yeah. So there's like twofold, but like one thing, the first thing I was going to say is that like I realized I was kind of playing this like this story a bit about like how I kind of am not kind of on my own. Like I don't have the support. Like I have to kind of figure it all out and advocate for myself and blah blah blah, kind of like this. I mean, can you feel the energy behind that? I don't think I'm using the articulating it correctly, but it's just kind of like I guess the bottom line is like kind
the
of
essence, like you don't have someone else.
Yeah, like loneliness.
Yeah.
Right. A vibration of feeling alone, which is like what then comes from that for me is sadness, like you know, feeling like, oh, sad, you know. And I was like became kind of aware that I was playing this story just today, like earlier today. And then when I was starting to voice some like needs of mine or wants of mine to the group here, I started crying. You know, because of that like loneliness or the aloneness that I was feeling. And when I like sat with it for a second, not even sat with it a second, like in movement, doing something, brushing my teeth, and then was like, oh, what's a better feeling thought I could have right now? Like right
Mhm.
now I could think that others schedules and priorities are above mine, which is like a really awful feeling.
It doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good.
Mhm.
Or I can think that I'm loved and supported because I am. Like
Mhm.
the second that I thought that, I was like, oh, that's, yeah, the people I'm with love me and want to support me.
Mhm.
Is your dog? What are you looking at?
I'm sorry. I think that cat's trying to like come in here.
Oh my
I think
gosh.
I think like it will try to come through the dog door. Who knows? We'll
Oh,
see. Phoebe might tell that cat to buzz off, but
kick right, kick
it
rocks.
looked like it was back and it wanted to jump through the window at me.
Wow.
I was
Oh
like,
my
"Oh,
gosh, so
I should
funny.
give it like a little cat perch on that fence so it can just hang out." But
Yeah.
anyway.
As I was talking, I could notice Stephanie's eyes
I'm like,
wondering.
"Is the cat going?"
Something's with us. Yeah. Um,
Well, something's with us.
anyways, yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, okay. A few things. One, allow the loneliness. Don't make it wrong. Don't make the
Yeah.
sadness wrong. Allow
Yeah.
yourself to feel it.
Yeah. Mhm.
Welcome it. Let it be because then it will evolve naturally.
Yes. It
So
moves.
going, no, so this has been sort of a question I've had lately is like, what it's like I want steps, right? But like it's always going to be different. But
Yeah.
yes, find that next best feeling thought. And sometimes that next better feeling thought is like, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel lonely.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and let yourself feel it because that thought and that feeling just wants to move. When
Yeah.
we reject it and say, no, I
It
shouldn't be
persists.
feeling this way. I can't feel lonely. Who am I
Yes.
know better. That's a really common thing we say to ourselves,
Yes.
which feels worse. To say
Yeah.
that thought to yourself when you're feeling lonely feels worse. So
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot with letting myself feel feelings as they arise. In
Yep.
the moment that I'm aware I'm feeling guilty, I'm feeling fearful, I'm feeling like I'm being too much, I'm feeling
Mhm.
blah, blah, blah. I
Yep.
go pause, close my eyes, feel it in my body, feel it, feel it, feel it, let myself feel it, ring it out, ring it out, ring it out. And then it just like, it just
It
goes
naturally moves.
like
Yep.
the laser beams in the eyeballs that I was talking about like last time or the time before, it was like
Yeah.
finally I let myself be mad and then
Yes.
and then I just felt so much better afterwards. So that's like a thing, right? That
Yep.
like whatever arises, bless it, let it be, let it move. Don't
Yep.
make it wrong. And also, you know, I mean, like, yeah, let's just pause there for a moment and just acknowledge like that's a thing. Um, even when it looks like it's something outside of you, like allowing that to be too, not
Mhm.
needing it to be off the buffet,
Yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
anything, everything around you, providing the clarity of what you're wanting. So allowing it and then also then saying, okay, what is it that I'm wanting? And allowing yourself to have it
Yeah.
unconditionally.
Now
Unconditionally.
now that you're slowing the process down and like kind of talking through it, I think that is naturally what I did. Like I felt it completely. I cried. I
Yep.
voiced it
Yep.
even to like the group, my
Yep.
friend. And then I immediately felt better
Yep.
for doing so.
Hmm.
And then I had the pause where I was like, "Oh, what do I want?"
Yep.
And that's when that thought came in of like, "Oh, I want to know I'm like loved and supported."
Hmm.
And then it was very easy for me to find in my logical mind evidence of that
Hmm.
within my experience,
Hmm.
which I just locked it in.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And
Interesting. Yeah.
okay, again, step further that the looking for evidence is a thing that we do and we've done and it's been like a big way of me showing myself what I'm wanting. It's been a big way. and love this, love what Communion of Light, love what Frank brings through, Paul brings through, is like,
Wait, who's Paul?
Paul is the name
Speaker of
of, yeah,
Communion
the
of
Communion
Light?
of Light.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't even know that.
Frank's the guy, the human.
The human.
I don't hear him refer to Paul very much, but other people mention Paul. So I'm like,
Oh,
okay.
funny. Okay.
Gina
I
calls
haven't
him
heard it
Frank and Paul. Frank and Paul.
yet.
I kind of like that. Anything that you're putting out there and looking for evidence, you'll find it.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
And it's not that it was there first. It's because you're giving your attention to it. So you can literally say, I'm going to have this thought. Let me look for evidence. And you will always find evidence to prove your thoughts. So it's about being it, the vibration of love, which you are, unconditional love, expanding the universe, you are, and just like, and then the things around you are that as well. So again, from where you were, that next better thought and feeling was like, oh yeah, like I want to feel love and support, and here are the ways in which I already am.
Yeah.
And the unconditional way to do that is to be like, love and support. I'm feeling it now. I'm having it now. I am it now. What does it feel like in my body? You know? And
well, it's funny because that like the council, I was just listening to the council, like Sarah Landon and Mike Dooley just came out with a new book yesterday. Yeah. And they did, a live event a couple days ago and did a couple questions. Mike Dooley asking the council through Sarah.
Yes.
And it was like the common question about like, we get this, but like, why is there so much turmoil in the world, war, hate, all this stuff? And it was that I feel like it's connected to kind of what you were just saying about like, if you're seeking that, you're going to find evidence of that. Right. So if you're watching like the news and you're seeing like all the terrible things happening in the world, all the terrible things, and then you find more and more evidence of that, all this terrible stuff, and then you see it in your own experience or whatever, like you're going to find the evidence to support that because that's where your focus is, and that's where you put your focus on, and the meaning you're giving it is creating your reality. But they of course then talked about you want to become what you want to see in the world. So if you are wanting to see pure love, unconditional love in the world, feel that within yourself, create it in your internal world, and therefore it will be out.
That's what vibration is. That's what like your thoughts, your vibration, you like your intention, your focus, your awareness. I'm love. I'm loved. I'm loving. I'm loved. I'm lovable. I'm perfect. I mean, write it down if you want. And I used to be like, no to affirmations, especially if it feels worse. That's the important part. If you're trying to feel better and you're saying affirmations and it feels worse, notice it for yourself. But when I was just saying those things, it felt good. It felt better. It felt expansive. It felt like, yeah, that's what I'm telling the universe. Is similar to like when I'm saying like I'm fit and I'm toned and I'm getting more toned and I'm healthy and and everything I eat is healthy. It's all healthy for me. It is my creation. That feels good. It doesn't, for me, whatever, it doesn't feel like it's accentuating any sort of gap. I'm like, I'm it now. I'm already it. And it feels really good. And I'm telling the universe, like, of my thoughts, I am this. I am this now. And I'm more of this. I'm becoming even more of this. And that is like becoming more of who you are,
becoming more of what you've always been, everything that you already are,
becoming more of just that infinite light, source, love, just
Infinitely
if
abundant.
the next
all
better thought, feeling, action, words to speak, as you follow that, you are just becoming and expanding more of who you are. When you're not becoming more. It's not that you stop or you cease becoming more of who you are. You still are becoming more.
Yes. Yes,
Because
always.
it's a constantly expanding
Yeah.
universe. It's just slower. It's just what like Communion of Light calls like delayed. It's
Yeah.
you're delaying it, but you're still expanding. It's just a
Yes.
matter of sort of speed, and what feels better.
That reminds me of something else that maybe I read in their book. But it reminds me of how, kind of back to like what we're talking about, even like, what we're kind of taught about, like making goals, and like, let's just say like a American dream, right? Is to have a family and a home, own a home and have a family. Like it's kind of like the typical American dream, right? And it's like, so you have this goal. Now you get to that goal, and then there's going to be a new goal. Like there's always going to be another thing that you are then putting your focus on, that you're expanding on, and that you're going for. So instead of, and this kind of goes back to that premise of like, instead of making it like this future thing that then when you reach it, then you're going to be like happy and all the things that you think you're going to attain once you reach that, making it here and now. Because even when you reach what you think is going to create that, you're then going to put your focus and your sights on something else and put it separate and put the gap, there.
You'll always have more desires, and you'll always have more desires because
you're growing.
Like, okay, again, this is another like Frankism, or the way that they say it is that our desires are the vehicle through which unconditional love is expanding.
Yeah.
And
I love
having
that.
of the
That's
desires, it is literally expanding the universe, and there will always be more.
Always. Yeah, because as you're moving through this experience, you're gathering more information, more data, more clarity that then expands your desires. It's like, it's just naturally what's going to be happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other piece I wanted to bring in, and I'm going to speak it, and as I speak it, maybe it'll totally shift for me anyways. But the thing I was kind of I guess or what I was reflecting on for myself, standing back, I kind of was like, oh, I've noticed over time what I've done is that I haven't really been clear about my personal preferences. Like I don't have a strong clarity on that. First of all, maybe there's something to do with childhood where I didn't feel like my voice could be heard or my preferences would be honored. Who knows? Maybe that's where it roots from. But also, like, I am pretty, like, I'm easygoing. I can kind of flow with things pretty easily. It's like it comes easily for me to do so. And so what I kind of witness was like, oh, my preference might be like here, right? Like the best feeling thing for me to do. And then somebody else's preference is here, but they're like really kind of like stern on that. I will tend to like come down and meet them in their preference because it's not like that big of a deal to me to come down that little bit to meet them. But for them to come up, that's like a bigger gap for them, So I think what I was kind of reflecting on is like, oh, I think I've done that a lot over time. So it's not just once in a while I kind of come down and meet people in their own preferences and go with it. It's most of the time. And why this came into my awareness is just with this whole concept of like, what is the best feeling thing? What is like, what do I most prefer? And I
Mhm.
haven't really given a lot of like focus or clarity on that for myself.
Mhm.
I tend to listen to what somebody else's preference is and kind of feel into it and go, oh, I could do that.
Mhm.
And then not voice what is my preference, though,
Mhm.
you know?
Steph's take.
Yeah.
There's
I love the always saying, this is Steph's take.
Steph's take. This is my take. You take it or leave it if it
Yeah,
feels good
yeah.
to you.
If it
Um,
resonates.
there's an underlying assumption there. There's something going on there, which is they have theirs, I have mine, and it's either one or the other.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Separate.
It's either their way or my way. Whose way is it going to be? There's more. So there's also a perspective that might feel better, which is we can all have what we want.
Mm-hmm.
Or I've created a construct that says, when one person gets what they want, another person doesn't. And this is a manifestation of that idea. And how can I allow that to evolve into a world where everything's a win-win? Whether I'm the
Mm-hmm.
one expressing a preference or they are or we both are, we're all winning.
Yeah.
Like there's just I think what feels like to me is just some old construct idea about getting your way and that taking away from others,
Yeah.
etc. And a very general thought might be, as I follow what feels better for me, everyone's winning.
Yeah.
It's benefiting everyone, whether it's a yes or it's a no or anywhere in between.
Yes. Yep.
That
Absolutely.
as I do say, think, but maybe in this case, do what feels
Mm-hmm.
better, it's
In
it's
service to
best for
all.
us all.
Yeah. It's so funny because, of course, this kind of goes back to how you were talking about when people had the questions and they were your questions, but they were talking about
Mm,
their own experience, that you could be like, oh my gosh, I can now kind
yeah,
of get that pretty easily. Like, of course, I've coached people on this very concept
yeah,
and given that, like, perspective shift. And while you were talking, I was kind of like laughing to myself, like, aha, yes, right.
yeah,
Of course I know. I do, I know this other perspective and know that to be true.
yeah,
Like, I do know that to be true, that when you stand in your power
yeah,
and it's in service to all, and you voice whatever your preference is, it's always in service to all
yeah.
when you're in
It,
your power.
even like, yes,
Oh,
we're
this
always
is good.
powerful. Yes,
This is good. But this is, oh my gosh, sorry. I don't mean to, can
go.
you pause? Okay. I'm
Yeah,
just having an epiphany. I literally this morning, because I knew there was expansion in what I've been kind of like processing these last couple days. And this morning in my journal, I just kind of channeled. I
yeah,
just meditated, was like, what do I need to like hear right now? And I had like a couple minutes. So I had like two sentences. And
yeah,
all it said was that it's all about remaining in your power, and that by doing so, you're not giving your power away. And therefore, like this concept of energy, giving your energy away,
mm-hmm.
that when you remain in your power, then you have access to that infinite source energy.
Mm,
And so I just wrote that down, but right now it's clicking into place for me
mm-hmm.
with what you just said. And because all of this that is a little, a way that I've been giving my power away.
Mm.
That I've been entangled into other things outside of myself, rather
Mhm.
than remaining within myself, remaining in my power, and, then acting, speaking, whatnot from that place, which is always in service for all.
Mhm. Yeah. There there's just a little essence of like shielding or like anyone can take from you, but I think it's simpler than that, which is like, just following what feels better. And even in this case, we're talking about sort of like a meta perspective. We're talking
Yes.
about, let's take an inventory of a meta perspective
Yeah.
about relations and interactions with other people, and when we're doing things together, and
Yes.
a meta perspective on energy and on everything,
Yep.
so so your your power is in the present moment. You can't
Yeah.
give your power away. You're just feeling better and better as you're like, you maybe say you think a thought like, oh, I could just like use a little break right now. And then
Mhm.
maybe an automatic thought, or what feels like an automatic habitual thought, is like, yeah, but I can't. Then I'm going to
Yeah.
screw them
Yeah.
over if I take a break right now.
Yeah.
You know, then you're like, oh, well, that thought felt worse than the thought that like, I want to break.
Yeah.
So from that, like, no, I can't because that's screwing them, or that how will whatever, then it's like, well, what feels better from here? Okay, well, I bet if I took a break, it would benefit everyone because then I would feel better. I could go to I could even just say I'm going to the bathroom, and then just like,
Yeah.
oh, I had a really nasty shit and I was in there for 10 minutes. You didn't even have to go to the bathroom. You just sit in there, and
Yes.
you could, right? So like, how
Yeah.
fun
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
this to just be going like, oh, that one felt a little bit worse, and now that one, oh, I could go to the
Yeah.
bathroom, or I could really use a nap. No, you can't have a nap. Opinion, right? You can't have a nap. And then,
Mhm.
well, what if I could have a nap? Ooh, what would a nap feel like, right? Like, it just, that's the minutia of like, we're talking specific, we're talking general, we're talking like, when it feels worse, it's not true.
Yes.
I just dropped my
And
pen.
it's like that
Mic drop.
mic drop. And like it's that whole like bring the focus back to you,
Absolutely,
right?
to
To
you.
your own thoughts. So in
I'm
that
creating
example,
all of
yes,
this. Since I'm
yes,
creating all of this, I'm writing this movie right now,
yes,
in the moment. I'm
yes.
writing this
Which,
movie.
yes, then you're claiming your power again.
You have
Like,
access to the energy that
yes,
creates worlds.
creates worlds, creates universes, created the stars, the
Is
moon, the sun,
actively
and you.
creating the universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not putting your focus to something externally that you feel like you don't have control over or whatnot,
Yeah.
whatever story you're telling yourself about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah.
So
Like,
good.
okay, I'm just going to bring in one other piece to like expand it even further. Like, what if traveling with 3 fucking parents and a baby was just like the funnest, easiest thing, because there's 3 parents and there's a baby, and you're in Europe where everyone loves babies and whatever, and they speak the
Yes.
language, like, you know,
Yep.
right at the beginning you were like, we're traveling and it's international and like
Yada
jet lag,
yada. Yeah, yeah.
na na na, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
there was even this, like, you said, what you can expect from international travel with a
Yes.
newborn,
Yes. Yep.
right? So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
what do you
Yep.
want to expect? What do you want to
Yes.
create? What would feel even better for you? next time you
Yes.
all go and travel somewhere together, I mean, you got 3 parents.
Yeah.
You got
Well,
3.
even more than that, because we have family here that is like willing and wanting to help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You flew
Yeah.
across the world in an airplane, quote unquote,
Yeah.
because it's a movie and it's all
Yeah.
freaking
Yeah.
illusion. It's a hologram. You flew across the world. I mean, same thing with
Yeah.
exercising, right? You want muscles. You can go to the gym because you tell yourself that's you. So we
Yeah.
have constructed this reality where we get to France or Switzerland via plane or train, and
Yep.
you manifested all of that.
Yeah.
And all the wealth and all the money and all the abundance and all of the pieces. You are so powerful.
Yeah.
You're never getting rid of your power. You're never giving it away. You're always powerfully manifesting everything, but you're
Yeah.
doing it just so default. You're not even acknowledging it.
Yes.
What the fuck? You flew
Yeah.
to Switzerland and you're Lake Geneva and
Yeah.
right. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think this idea of like, oh, I'm writing this. I love this like as a journal prompt, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm writing this movie. I'm writing the script. I'm the director. I'm
Yep.
the protagonist. I'm the lead actor.
Lead actress and the director.
And I'm all of
Yep.
the other players too. It's like
Yep.
you're,
Yes.
that Tyler Perry playing every single character, whatever,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
but you're dressing them as different characters
Oh
and
my
giving
gosh.
them different personalities.
Martin Lawrence? No, it wasn't Tyler Perry. It was, what was his
Well,
name?
Tyler Perry
Anyways.
does like the Medea like series
Yes.
where they think that they dress up maybe just as a
Oh,
woman, but like yeah,
yes.
maybe Robin Williams does that. Like there's different
Yeah.
different
Yes.
actors
Yes.
who play all the parts, and
All the parts. Yeah.
we're doing that. That's us.
Yeah.
That's us. Oop, that's us right now. So it's fun to when there's awareness, then there's opportunity
Yes.
to choose
When there's
something new.
when there's awareness, there's opportunity.
Let's write that
Mic
down.
drop. That's out there. Yeah, there's our title.
Or since I'm writing this movie.
Yes.
How does that feel?
Great.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah. It's all, yeah, it's just remembering that that's the other thing that Frank said in whatever I was listening to. But and the council talks about this too, and I'm sure other channels, but how it's actually really difficult and feels like is harder to feel those like awful thoughts or
yes. Yeah, they
yeah.
said that to me yesterday. They were
Oh,
like,
funny.
They were like that's a testament to like your power and your like magnificence, is that you're even able to maintain those thoughts for very long, because
Yes.
it just goes, it's so difficult. It goes against like everything
Your
that
nature.
you are. Yeah.
Literally what you naturally are, and that we learned over time and now have created a habit of doing so. But and that goes back to that you had sent me ambiguity. What was it? It was ambiguous,
Unambiguous,
unambiguous,
deciding for wealth or something.
Yeah, something like that. Anyways, but it's like knowing that who we are, that we are that source energy. We are powerful beyond our comprehension. We are infinite abundance, infinite health and wealth and all the things.
We're already like wealthy. That's what this series was about. Is like, you're wealthy motherfuckers. I said that to someone this week. I was like, you guys are wealthy motherfuckers. Yeah. And they were just like, okay. And and someone asked a question on the call and they were like, yeah, but like, I'm not wealthy. And they're like, you are. And once you realize it, even more will rise to meet you.
Well,
Once you,
then, yes, then we're going to have the evidence to prove that,
well, yeah,
right?
because
Like
what,
once you know
because
it,
the universe of your thought is always proving your thoughts.
proving it.
Just be in that wealth now because it's already here. You are, I mean,
Gosh.
I was looking around in the space that I am this morning and I was like, you're goddamn right. Like just our like little like medicine thing alone, you know, that of all our little collections of medicine. I was like, that's really like hundreds of dollars of medicines. And like our
Yeah.
jackets, our outdoor gear,
Oh my
thousands
gosh.
of dollars of
Oh
outdoor
yeah,
gear,
easy.
piles of it. You know, I got
Mm.
all these markers. Look at all these coins right here. I've
Hey,
got
there you go.
cash to spend. And I love also thinking about like not just however much somebody paid for this bowl, but all the workers who got paid to make it, the workers who got paid to mine the ingredients, like all of it. I love thinking about those sorts of things. So like
Same.
we are just swimming in wealth and we are wealthy now.
Yeah. I love that. I love that so much. Oh my gosh. And I just saw a little white butterfly, which is one of my signs.
That's amazing.
Perfect timing.
That is perfect. I love it. So the cat left, but this fly's been hanging out and it looks similar to the cat because it's black and it has like orangish yellow eyes. And I'm like, oh, the cat manifested as a fly because that was the easier way for it to show up and hang out. It's been right here, like just on the windowsill next to me.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, in a private session, they said, you know, everything around you is aware of you, and is paying attention to you, like the tree and the bird, and like they're interested in you, and they're gonna come around you, and they're gonna want to sniff you, and they like your scents and all the delights, all these critters around you. I love that. I like that new perspective, like that bee who was just coming in and is like, hey, what's up, Robin?
Yeah. Exactly. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Really great conversations today. I feel like that's a great place to sort of settle.
Yeah, we covered a lot.
Yeah.
We covered a lot and it just will always be more.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see what's next week.
I know. It's like every week there's just more and more.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so
Then
cool.
I also think it's funny that like, you know, we came in as like me being like the representation of Abraham and you being the representation of Sarah Land in the council. And now we're like, it's not like we're representing Frank, but now we almost have this like completely shared common language that we're just like jamming on and jazzing on. And I actually feel that way in all of the parts of my life. I'm manifesting everyone around me as being interested in this work. So that like yesterday I hosted a community call for Gina and Ramona's group. And we just talked about Frank stuff like basically the entire time. Like I had this and it was amazing. And there were like 5 of us talking for an hour and a half and just jamming together. And I started like a little like Facebook chat called the Spaceship where it's all like Frank focused, and I created a Dropbox folder of like shared private sessions that people can listen to if we want to share them, whatever. And it's just like the whole universe of my thoughts is just like I'm creating all of this to really expand, like, you know, like everything around me. I even said to a friend yesterday, I was like, you know, you gotta, not that there's anywhere to get to, and you know, it's not like you have to consume a certain amount of material in order to like be at a place of understanding. But I was just like, you know, I'm only talking Frank these days, so if you don't speak Frank, like I don't know if we'll be able to communicate. And she was like, no, don't say that. And I was like, I'm just kidding. Like,
I'm just kidding, but not kidding.
We have a universal language of love, but
yes.
But also like that's sort of where my interests lie right now, is just really expanding on and juicing on these ideas and the applicability of them, and just loving that so much.
Me too. It's just fun. I just love it.
It's so fun.
So
I love
fun.
you.
I love you too. It's just great to have these calls every week. I just love it. There's like literally nothing else I'd rather do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thanks for listening. You can visit us at www.itshappeningforyou.com for more information about upcoming episodes and previous episodes, and just learn more about us. Here we go.
And a 3, and a 2, and a 1, and a welcome to right?
It's happening.
I thought we'd start from the beginning.
It's Happening For You podcast with Robin Meharry
and Stephanie Lentini, the podcast about mastering the creation process and living a life of extraordinary possibilities.
Join us as we just talk every week and chat and share.
Have way too much fun. We love you.
We love you.
Thank you for being here with us.
And the beat drops.
And the beat drops.